welcome to this explainer. Let's just skip the fluff today, alright? We all have that one friend who constantly brags about how cheap land was 10 years ago. You know the one. Ah man, I could have bought the entire sector for way less. Right. Well, today we're gonna completely shift the paradigm on how you view real estate, infrastructure, and wealth generation. We are breaking down the insider's playbook on following the supply chain. Because if you ever watched a piece of land double or triple in value and thought, man, I completely missed the boat, this explainer is gonna rewire your brain so you literally never miss that boat again. We are ditching the complex economic jargon entirely and looking straight at the ground truth of how capital actually flows. Okay, let's dive right into this. Right off the bat, we need to address the classic, almost painfully common investor mistake, and you see it all the time. An investor looks at the rapidly developing area and says, no way I'm buying that. 5 years ago, it was a fraction of that cost. But here's your video reality check. The new road being built out front doesn't care what the land was worth 5 years ago. It only dictates what it's gonna be worth 5 years from now. If you're comparing today's booming logistic hub to the sleepy village it used to be, you're anchoring to a ghost. You're looking for yesterday prices in tomorrow's locations. Let's actually unpack the psychology behind these numbers. Say a plot used to be 8,000 rupees per square yard. And stubborn investor sits on the sideline waiting for a market correction, telling themselves, I'll just buy when it drops back down. But here's the thing, they're not actually waiting for a price drop. What they're secretly waiting for is certainty. They want everyone else to validate that it's a safe bet, and because of that hesitation, they completely miss the 40,000 rupees mark. By the time the factories are humming and the big brands have cut their ceremonial ribbons, our stubborn investor inevitably ends up buying at 80,000 rupees premium. And that leads us perfectly into this punchy, absolutely undeniable truth. Certainty is the most expensive thing you can buy in real estate. Just let that sink in for a second. The market does not reward you for waiting until the location is an absolute, undeniable slam dunk. By the time every newspaper and casual observer agrees a location is a gold mine, the biggest financial moves, the massive life-changing multipliers are already in the rearview mirror. Section 1. Cities fade, corridors rise. This brings us to a really grand realization. We are moving away from the era of isolated cities and straight into the era of connected corridors. The old model was essentially a bloated city just pushing its borders outward. Delhi grows, so it spills into Noida. Noida gets packed, so it spills into Greater Noida. And the result, mind-numbing traffic, impossibly expensive land, and literally zero room to breathe. But the new model, it's corridor-based. It's creating a chain. Delhi to Baghpat, to Shamli, to Saharanpur. A smart logistics company doesn't care if its pin code says Noida or Shamli. They only care about travel time, transport cost, and cheap land. If Shamli gives them the exact same highway access for a fraction of cost, Shamli wins, period. And this brilliantly illustrates how we should be looking at the things. Forget the zoning laws and textbook theories for a minute. Think of infrastructure as a biological system. The roads are the arteries, the goods moving on them are the blood. The industries are the organs functioning off that energy, and the cities, they are just the nodes connecting it all together. So where does land appreciation happen? It happens exactly where that economic blood starts flowing. Spot the new arteries and you spot the new wealth. Now a quick reality check. Major cities don't just disappear. Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, they are not going anywhere. It's like how highways didn't kill Delhi. But what happens is they lose their monopoly. Tier 1 cities evolve into their financial headquarters, the high-end decision-making hubs. Meanwhile, the surrounding corridor towns absorb all the land-intensive, heavy-lifting business. Take a place like Baghpat. When giants like Amul and Bimbo Bakery move in there, they are not pretending Baghpat is the new Delhi. They recognize Baghpat as a vital, unavoidable node in the new economic circulatory system. Why? Because they need massive, sprawling footprint for their operations. And paying tier 1 city prices for the warehouse space is a surefire way to just bleed capital. Baghpat offers the space and, more importantly, the arteries to move the blood. Section 2. Who arrives first? If we are looking closely at these new corridors, it's time to debunk a major myth about early movers. Everyone stares at a patch of empty dirt and asks, so when is the factory moving? But listen, a factory is like a high-maintenance diva. It requires massive, incredibly complex ecosystem to survive hundreds of laborers, specialized sheet metal suppliers, massive water, power utilities, and crystal clear compliance. Setting one up is a monumental headache. But a warehouse operator is beautifully simple. Give them a wide road, space to turn trucks around, affordable land, and good connectivity, and they can practically start pouring concrete tomorrow. And here's the true chronological journey of a boomtown. First, the government cuts the road. Second, warehouses quietly slides in. Third comes the distribution networks. Then you get the service businesses, the truck repair shop, the fuel station, the roadside dhabas. Only after all of that infrastructure and ecosystem is firmly built, you actually see light manufacturing, followed finally by the large-scale factories. Warehouses are the absolutely first commercial proof that a corridor is actually becoming economically useful. So if you're really paying attention and trying to spot the next big wave, you need to stop asking which factory is coming and start looking for these guys. The regional distribution centers, the building material suppliers, the agro-logistics firms. These are the companies that need a solid base the exact second the asphalt dries on the new expressway. They are your earliest serious land buyers. They are creating jobs, generating rental demand, and triggering the very major spikes in land value. Section 3. Control versus ownership. So the crucial point is, once you know who's buying, you need to understand behind the scenes zoning battles that dictate where these massive companies actually put their money. It's essentially a street fight between authorities and businesses. It's often framed as super boring legal jargon, but guys, it's really about human behavior. The government loves leasehold. Why? Because it's given them 90 years of control, recurring revenue, and serious leverage of how the land is used. But put yourself in the shoes of a business owner. You're dropping 100 crore rupees on a massive facility. Do you want to build that on a land you don't really own? No way. You want freehold. You want absolute certainty, the flexibility to expand later, and zero bureaucratic headaches. Now, does that mean leasehold is terrible and freehold is some kind of magic bullet? No. Don't fall into this simplistic trap. Highly valuable areas operate on leasehold all the time. But when a company is moving to a brand new greenfield corridor, they are going there for speed and lower costs. If you can offer them freehold ownership on top of that, it becomes a massive bonus that makes their board's decision incredibly easy. However, never forget the real wealth. The main story is always driven by the connectivity and the movement of goods. Freehold is just the cherry on top. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to burn this quote into your memory. The market doesn't pay you for being early. It pays you for being correct. If you're just early and completely wrong about a location's true utility, your capital just sits dead in the dirt for a decade. Spotting the flow of capital isn't about widely guessing where the next big shiny city will pop up. It's about correctly identifying the unavoidable, completely necessary economic nodes of tomorrow. It's about being correct on the supply chain. I want to leave you with this final provocative question. Stop looking at empty plots of land. Stop waiting for the ultimate metropolis to just magically appear out of thin air. Instead, ask yourself, if 500 trucks pass this exact corridor daily in 5 years, who makes money from those trucks? Answer that and you found your next big opportunity. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking the right questions and I'll see you on the next one.